adhere to these following protocol. Please shut your phones off, put them on silence, vibrate. And please, as I give you the signal, stand as the faculty and platform guests come into the auditorium. And please remain standing until you're given the signal to sit down. Thank you.
Our thanks to Dr. Samuel Stringer of the Department of Fine and Performing Arts for the processional music, I should say. Good morning to everybody. To Madam Vice Chair and members of the Board of Regents of Morgan State University, to our keynote speaker, Ms. Dia Sims, to members of the Morgan State University Educational Leadership Team seated on the dais, to our devoted alumni who are with us this morning, to our distinguished guests, to our faculty emeriti and members of our faculty here at Morgan, to our students and staff of Morgan State University, and most of all, to our distinguished student honorees, their families, and their friends, I welcome you to the 2018 Honors Convocation of Morgan State University. This morning, we assemble here in one of the most important convocations of the academic year here at Morgan. It is the occasion on which we convene the entire university community in a formal ceremony to celebrate the high academic achievement of Morgan's best students. Morgan is an institution that is committed first and foremost to the success of our students, and we take very seriously our responsibility to give formal recognition to those students who have taken their studies with us very seriously and have taken advantage of every opportunity that we offered them to learn and to grow and to become better. They are the students who have come to Morgan not only to get a sheepskin or to get a degree, but they have come here to get a great education, and there is a difference. And this morning, we pause to applaud their academic success, and we applaud their commitment to the highest academic standards. We want them to know that Morgan appreciates the opportunity that they have afforded us to contribute to their education, and that they themselves have made a great contribution to the academic, intellectual, and cultural life of Morgan by being such terrific students. And so before we officially begin our program, I will ask you to turn off your cell phones and other mobile devices, or at least put them on vibrate so that they would not become a distraction during the ceremony. I also remind our students that they should not leave the concert hall until the convocation has ended and the academic recession has exited the hall. All classes, as you know, are suspended until this convocation has ended. We owe you, our student honorees, these important courtesies. And so now we will officially begin our program with the invocation by Reverend Dr. Bernard Keels, Dean of the University Memorial Chapel. Reverend Keels.
Shall we pray? Almighty and majestic one, thou who art the foundation and the reservoir of all wisdom, rain down on us here as we gather to travel a pathway of excellence. Enlighten by your Holy Spirit those who teach and those who learn. They may rejoice in the knowledge of your truth, O God. Mindful of your guidance from generation to generation, deposit in them the freedom to challenge themselves and each other, the courage to boldly step out of their comfort zones and risk answering the big questions in life. What is my purpose? What is meaning? My relationship, my responsibilities? Whom am I accountable to empower the least of these? In days of difficulty, O God, and uncertainty, may we stay the course of excellence, recalling those who have come before us, who with much less, nevertheless, accomplished so much more. Fortressed by the inspiration of dream merchants and drum majors, that grew our future from the stormy past and met their descendants at the point of their need. For those who've achieved the marks of excellence, these men and women this morning, grant them courage, O God. Courage to love in abundance. Protect them from cynicism and complacency. Keep them ever mindful that the world is theirs, but that they are not the world. The honors bestowed upon them this day come with strings attached. Your admonishment embraced by Morganites of every era, to whom much is given, much indeed is expected. For we ask in the matchless name of the God who creates, redeems, and sustains. Amen.
You may be seated. I wish to acknowledge the presence of a number of regents who have joined us this morning for this celebration. I will ask each one to stand as I officially introduce them. We have with us the Vice Chair of the Morgan State University Board of Regents, Regent Reverend Dr. Francis Murphy Draper. We have the Secretary of the Board of Regents, the Honorable Regent Tracy Parker Warren. We have our student regent with us this morning, Regent Hamida Famutatimi. And we have with us Regent Winston A. Wilkerson. Please join me in giving a round of applause to members of our governing board. We will now have official greetings from the Morgan State University Board of Regents, brought to us by the Vice Chair, Reverend Dr. Francis Murphy Draper.
To my fellow regents, President David Wilson, our keynote speaker, Ms. Sims, members of the faculty, administration, emeriti faculty, special guests, alumni, friends, and our remarkable high-achieving students and their families. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am pleased and honored to bring greetings on behalf of the Morgan State University Board of Regents. In 1934, Martin Jenkins, who would later become the 7th president of what was then Morgan State College, outlined 3 key arguments which would define his future work. Number 1, that gifted Black students exist. Number 2, that their giftedness resulted from genetic and environmental factors. And finally, that identification of gifted students was crucial to ensuring that their learning was supported and enriched, thus enabling them to realize their own potential. And today, more than 80 years later, Morgan State University is still attracting, supporting, and celebrating academically gifted students from all over the world. These students come to Morgan, as I did many years ago, because, as Dr. Wilson often reminds us, Morgan is a great university. Now I'm stopping there, you should applaud that. Morgan is a great university with an exceptional faculty, with a dedicated staff, and brilliant, phenomenal students. Today, we are pleased to recognize a few of those students for their academic achievements. As Dr. Benjamin Mays once said, whatever you do, do it so well that people looking on will feel that the task was reserved especially for you by God Himself. Congratulations to our honor students for doing it so well. You are an outstanding group of talented, highly motivated students and undeniable proof that Morgan attracts and graduates individuals of high intellect, boundless creativity, deep passion, and strong character. Through your commitment to academic excellence and civic engagement, may you continue to stay woke and demonstrate that Black lives have always mattered and will continue to matter and thrive at Morgan State University, Maryland's, indeed, the nation's preeminent public urban research university, as you grow the future and lead the world. So I just stand here today to say that your board is proud of your accomplishments, and we pray that you will continue to excel. Again, congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Draper, for those spirited remarks. We will now have a musical selection by the world-renowned Morgan State University Choir under the direction of Dr. Eric Conway.
Good morning. We will sing Striving After God by Undine Smith Moore, Virginia State University former professor, and the text is by the Italian sculptor Michelangelo, Striving After God. Our students in the Fine and Performing Arts Department were always chasing perfection. And this text suggests that as we are striving for perfection, we are actually striving to be closer to God.
That's the world-renowned Morgan State University Choir. And the Monday following the May 19th commencement, these voices behind me will board a plane, and they have been invited to tour 3 countries this summer. They will tour Germany, Austria, and Slovakia. And so, once again, wonderful, wonderful global ambassadors for our beloved Morgan State University. Thank you very much, Dr. Conway. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to introduce our keynote speaker for the Honors Convocation this morning, and to welcome back to her alma mater, Ms. Dia Sims. She is currently one of the most distinguished and accomplished graduates of our institution, and indeed, one of America's leading business executives. A native of Monterey, California, now residing, of course, here in Baltimore, Dia has climbed high on the corporate ladder since she graduated from Morgan State University with a bachelor's degree in psychology in 1997. After years of working as a contract specialist for the Department of Defense, later in advertising sales, and as co-founder of Madison Marketing Incorporated, and in the pharmaceutical industry, she joined Combs Enterprises as an assistant to its owner, Sean Diddy Combs. Her rise at Combs Enterprises has been steady and dazzling, from assistant to chief of staff to general manager of Blue Flame Agency, his advertising and marketing firm, and as president of Combs Wine and Spirits. Almost a year ago, she made the front page of the Baltimore Sun because in May of 2017, she was promoted to president of Combs Enterprises, where she oversees business activities across all the companies and oversees investments built and cultivated by Sean Combs. In the meantime, Dia has earned a master's degree in management from Florida Institute of Technology and has also earned a level 2 certification from the Defense Acquisition University. As one of its strongest creative forces, Dia Sims has brought to Combs Enterprises since 2005, when she joined the firm, a relentless commitment to excellence and has established an unparalleled record as a creative strategist and as a marketer in the leadership team at Combs. Under her leadership, Ciroc Ultra Premium Vodka, I can't believe I'm saying that actually, experienced a 1,000% growth and moved from relative obscurity to being one of the most recognized vodka brands in the world. Now let me just come clean and be transparent. I haven't tasted it. So today, she leads efforts across Combs Enterprises to identify and pursue strategic investments that expand the reach and influence that Combs has on entertainment, on the media, on fashion, on spirits, on culture, and other sectors. She is also a highly respected philanthropist. Dia serves on the board of Thread organization, which provides underprivileged high school students with resources to help foster their academic and personal growth. And she also serves on the board of Bankable, a mobile app that enables people to connect with the best creative talent in the market. She is an alumna in whose life and achievements Morgan State University takes great pride and satisfaction. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Morganites, please join me in giving a warm, enthusiastic welcome back home welcome to Ms. Dia Sims, class of 1997, president of Combs Enterprises.
Good morning. I am so incredibly honored to be here today. I want to give thanks to President Wilson for that awesome introduction. Maybe you can go more places with me. No. To the Board of Regents, all of the faculty here, all the alumni, the families, the students here who are such high achievers, who, as they were just recently referenced, the drum beaters, the culture creators, the people who I am inspired to stand here in front of today. Thank you for being an example. Thank you for showing that Wakanda is real. It's right here in this hall with the work that you guys do. So I graduated Morgan in 1997, which probably sounds prehistoric to many of you, but it feels like yesterday to me. When I was here, we didn't have a beautiful, Superfly, inspirational, state-of-the-art hall like this. So I hope you guys are grateful for all the work that your faculty administration, that the alumni, donations, that the community has done to make sure that Morgan is the best possible place for you to learn and to grow and to shape culture. I know that I am grateful for the people who came before me. I spent 4 extraordinary years here on this campus. I was really fortunate that I received a full academic scholarship, which I have no doubt that today benefited my very start in life. So as we all, and I'm sure many of you, many of your friends, we all face this really global burden, right, of student loans, I was able to step out as an adult debt-free because the alumni before me, because the administration had contributed to the school to make sure that there was a scholarship for someone like me to take advantage of. So although many of you, I believe in the audience, may be freshmen, sophomores, think about and don't forget that when you leave Morgan, make sure that you come back and give your talent and your resources, both your sweat equity and your financial resources. That's what other universities do, and I want to make sure as HBCUs that Wakanda only works if we turn around and give back. Now, I fancy myself a pretty good, disciplined student, honors student. And in 1997, when it came time to graduate, I went to they were posting the list by the Dean of Academic Affairs in the hallway. So I go up, and I'm looking, and I look again, I read it again, I don't see my name on the list. I'm like, there must be some kind of mistake. So I knock on the door, and I'm saying, hey, I'm not on the graduation list. I got my 3.6, I'm just doing extra work. And come to find out, I was actually 1 credit shy of a physical education credit. So the year I graduated, President Clinton actually spoke. And that will make sense in a minute. So I go and talk to the dean, and I say, well, what can I do? I got family coming from out of town. We got dinners and barbecues planned. Like, I never thought it was a question that I would graduate. What can I do to resolve this? I have got to graduate. And they said, well, you can go and talk to the head of physical education and see if they can accommodate you. I go and have a conversation. It turns out that the easiest thing for me to do is something called a flag dance. I don't know if you're familiar. It's like literally color flags and all kind of, and I was like, well, I'm not really a flag dancer. I mean, I got little moves, but I don't really know if I know flag dancing. And so look, you gotta take these instructions, take these flags. You got 5 days to practice. We will meet you, and if you pass your dance, then you can graduate. Right? So my friends don't believe me. I'm calling them saying, they say I gotta do a dance to graduate. And they're like, girl, you're so silly. I'm like, no, for real, I'm not exaggerating this time. I go, I practice my moves. I show up that day. I show in the gym. The gym is crawling with Secret Service people to protect. There's about 150 Secret Service agents that I gotta do a flag dance in front of in order to graduate. So they're snickering, laughing by, because I'm not that good at it, but I'm trying to do the best that I can. And thank God, obviously, or President Wilson wouldn't let me be here today, I was able to graduate. So I say that to say that the road to greatness may have speed bumps and Secret Service men and all kind of tricks, but persevere and stay focused, because you will get there. Although I was potentially not going to graduate, I'm here today on this stage with a group of the most illustrious students at Morgan State. So if you keep persevering, you don't know where you might end up. At my company, thank you, at Combs Enterprises, we have a very straightforward, action-oriented company mantra, and it is simply, be great. There is a country, which I need to learn, in Africa, where there's a language where there is no conditional tense. Maybe somebody knows it here with this brilliant group. But it is, they do not use I would. It's not I could have been great, but my shoes were too small, or I would have been great, but I was too tired. It is just very simply, be great. And Sean and I encourage anybody that we work with or alongside that you focus on that Navy SEAL can't stop, won't stop, be great, mission accomplished by any means necessary, level of dedication in everything that you do. Because if it is worth doing, why not be great? I'm going to talk to you today about superstars. What does it take to be a superstar? And I don't mean just Rihanna or Beyonce or maybe Cardi B is now a superstar. I'm talking about superstars that also include people like Katherine Johnson, the brilliant black mathematician who changed NASA, or Morgan's own Earl Graves, the businessman who has contributed to this organization, places that the brick paths that you walk across, founder of Black Enterprise, passionate advocate for Black entrepreneurship. Or superstars like your grandmother, or your moms and your dads, and your uncles and godparents who sacrificed so you could be in these seats today. Don't ever forget the quiet superstars in your own lives. I'm very fortunate. I've been able to meet a lot of, what is a stereotypical superstar in my life. Royalty, CEOs, billionaires, famous singers, famous rappers. All very different, but they do share a common work ethic and a common drive. I'm a student of patterns, and what I have noticed amongst these superstars is being talented is not even close to enough. I am 42 years old now, and I know people who have been telling me what they were about to do for 22 years, right? And don't get me wrong, some of these people were talented, very smart, persuasive, handsome, beautiful, got good dance moves. They would have killed the flag dance challenge. Smart, you know what I mean? Like, they are wonderful singers. I promise you, with every fiber of my being, that the talent is not enough. You are blessed. I know that I'm in a room full of talented students. But understand that the superstars that I have met that exemplify greatness, they couple that talent with extraordinarily hard work, with their hands, with their feet, with their heart, and their minds. And that combination is the difference between doing things that are good and becoming a true superstar. One of my favorite quotes is attributed to Thomas Edison. It's that opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Don't just run towards the shiny objects. Make sure you understand the work that got you there. My boss, Sean Combs, was recently listed in Forbes as being worth about $850 million. And when I go out and speak to, and he really does represent the American dream. And when I go out, I sometimes hear from young people where it almost feels like they think he inherited the money. I'm like, no, we really work. Like, we still work today. I mean, the reason why I'm 12 years working for Sean Combs is if we decide today to get into the pen business, he puts every bit of passion and effort to studying pens, to understanding ink, to going to the factories. What's the future of pens? What happens when people write left-handed upside down? Like, we approach it with a level of tenacity as if he wasn't worth $850 million. I'm not worth $850 million. I don't know who might be in this room. But if he has that level of tenacity, I encourage you to make sure you approach your character building, your storytelling, your studying, your relationship making, your learning outside the classroom with that level of inspirational tenacity. So let's talk about what a star actually is. Maybe you guys already learned this, but I'll share it. And I love this definition, and it's that a star is a luminous ball of light held together by gravity, which I think exemplifies the very point that I am trying to make. The energy in this room is amazing. You guys are all balls of light. It's obvious that you shine brightly everywhere you go, but what is holding you together? And for me, that gravity is really hard work and showing up. Now, this is not exactly scientifically accurate, but typically, if I ask everybody here to draw a star, most of us will draw 5 points, right? Apparently, it could be 4, 5, 6, but most of us in the world have now, if you draw a star, you think of it as having 5 points. And at Combs Enterprises, I've identified 5 attributes that we look for as a filter when hiring people. And also when we look for, we typically go over this in our evaluations. So it's not just coming on board, right? It's staying on board. And it's not just staying on board, it's being the best at what you do in your individual role. Well, those 5 things are rapid, relentless, resourceful, responsive, and my favorite, respectful. So let's start off talking about rapid. I don't mean being fast for fast's sake, although I was actually born in California. I was raised in New York, so I don't know, we got New York in the house, I'm sure, and we may have a reputation for being real fast. I don't mean just speeding to move fast, because don't mistake just, kind of movement for action, if you will, right? We want you to be principled and focused on what you get done. But it does make a difference to show up and be first. And I'll tell you an example. About 8 years ago, we were looking for a new assistant for Sean Combs in New York. And we did this big calling, we went on YouTube, reached out to all different people, and we ended up with 5 finalists. Gave them a packet of about 4 projects that I needed to have done, and we gave them 2 weeks to do it. One gentleman came, and he did a really great job on it, but he handed it in 5 days early. I never got to meet the rest of the candidates. He was first, he did a great job, and he stayed, and he's still doing phenomenal running his own business today. So the thing is, it does make a difference. Hand your assignment in early. Don't meet your deadline, beat your deadline. It makes a difference in the way people remember you. The other point about being rapid is, I know it must be difficult, and I remember going through this, trying to figure out what your major is, and the awesome responsibility of you feeling like you're responsible for what the rest of your life is going to be like. But I would say there's not a lot of fruit being born out of worry. Pick something, make a decision, and I believe in the strength of this group to make it the right decision. So I think be cautious, weigh all the decisions, be a scientist about the way you approach decision making, but don't spend 5 to 6 years waffling or overanalyzing things. Your path will be your path. Whatever your faith is, mine is, I believe in God. I know that God will direct my steps. And know that you can make the best of whatever situation is put in front of you. But if you overinvest and lose your very precious time, of which you will never get back, just going back and forth making a decision, I promise you it is a waste of time, and I've seen it firsthand. So be rapid in the way you approach your decision-making process. Well, the second thing is relentless. Now, being relentless is really, really hard. I'm not talking about like, I really tried really hard to do it. I tried 5 or 6 times to do it. Relentless isn't done until you cross the finish line of that particular project. Relentless really doesn't stop. And it's not easy to be relentless. You guys may not know, when I was young, there was a superstar for her time, Britney Spears. Don't judge me for quoting her, but she said, I'll never forget this quote that she said, that somebody asked her, well, what would you have done if you were not a singer? And she said, stone cold. She said, I had no plan B. There was nothing else I was going to be. I was relentless in the pursuit of my objective. This was my only option. Well, if there is something that you love to do, and my dad, who's right here, used to tell me, when you think about what you want to work at and what you want to do when you grow up, do not chase the money. Do what you love, and the money will follow. Be relentless in the pursuit of what you love. Well, the third one is resourceful. So this is a story that happened about 4 weeks ago. I'm working at home, I'm working on budget, so I turned my cell phone off, which is kind of unusual at Combs Enterprises. But I said, I got my laptop up, anybody can shoot me an email if they need to. I wake up in the morning, and I have a few texts from Puff, Sean's brother Love, Diddy's assistant, saying, we are trying to reach you. So I look around, I said, they can't be trying to reach me. So I literally get all of Sean's team on the phone, all of his assistants, state managers and security, anybody that works, it's a big team, as you can imagine. And I said, hey, I got a note that you were trying to reach me. But I started here in 2005, where Google was still kind of wonky, wasn't what it was. We didn't have that option. I could not direct message anybody on Instagram. And I said, I got a couple of texts on my cell phone that said somebody tried to reach me, but I didn't see any pigeons landing outside with the letter. No one called my neighbors. I didn't get an email. I didn't get a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Nobody tried to text my husband. Nobody called my assistants. I said, you didn't try to reach me. You failed to reach me. Understand what resources are at your disposal and use all of them, and think about things that don't even exist and figure out if you need a person who creates it to be as resourceful as you possibly can be. You live in an amazing time where all information is literally at your fingertips. So when I have young people in my organization tell me they can't find something, I said, oh no, that means you just weren't looking. And I know a group like this, high achievers like this, understand research and understand how to be resourceful. I want to make one last point on being resourceful. There's a company called Infosys in India. It's a $2 billion company, and one of the founders is famous for the saying, redefine the possible. Because part of being resourceful is not just researching what exists. It is researching and finding and using your brain to determine what doesn't exist. What is the most exciting about all of you students in this room is I know you will make things better, but what will you create that didn't exist? That is the true power of resourcefulness, is finding a hole, finding a white space, and figuring out how do you use your tremendous brain power, ideally in the collective, to really establish new and greater tools, not only to make yourselves better, but to truly make the world better. The fourth point is being responsive. Now, between me and you, I've been getting real busy lately, so I'm not even as responsive as I would like to be. So anybody has tips, I'll be here after. But what I would suggest for you guys is, it does matter that you actually respond to the requests and the opportunities that are in front of you. I have seen people presented with once-in-a-lifetime opportunities and fail to follow up or followed up late. I'm gonna give you a real-life point of view on this. You need a plumber. You might not need plumbers yet. You might live on campus. I used to live on Harper Tubman. Some point you will need a plumber. If you need a plumber, you probably need them right away. You call 3. First one calls you back. If they do a great job, they're gonna get your business. They may get your business for the next 10 years. Being responsive matters. If your professor gives you an opportunity and says, hey, I'm willing to talk to you after class, be responsive to that. That's a big deal. That's a huge opportunity. And it's another opportunity where, and I know Dr. Wilson and the faculty here have really gone above and beyond to push this forward. It's important that at HBCUs that we continue to foster these strong bonds with our faculty. I know they're here to serve. I know they were when I was here. Don't take that lightly. These are people who are going above and beyond for your personal greatness, which affects all of us. When you have a chance in front of you, be responsive, jump on that opportunity. And the last thing is, be responsive on this point. Be responsive to yourself. A lot of studies show that people, particularly, and this is a little bit for the young ladies in the crowd, don't follow their own instincts. They think doing something instinctual is like some emotional response, and the truth is your instincts are a collection of historical information that have taught your body a shorthand message to assess a situation. My dad again is a New York police officer, and when you look at often, if you study like police reports, you'll find a lot of times if women have come under any harm's way, they will say, I had a feeling. I kind of knew this wasn't the right thing to do. You were right, and trust yourself. Don't let political correctness or politeness turn you away from your instincts. You can be responsive to the world, but be responsive to yourself. So now we're on my favorite one. I'm gonna spend a little time on this one, so bear with me. But it is about being respectful. This is my favorite one because I think it's so overlooked. And if you don't hear anything I say today, I would ask that you very simply just start to say please and thank you more often. If you don't do anything else, please take that with you. This is about respecting yourself and your peers. This is about respecting the importance of relationships and your broader community. Everyone has something to learn, and everyone has something to teach. Please ensure that you approach every relationship you have, a 4-minute ride with your Uber driver, a 1-year session with your senior teacher, but understand that there's inspiration and learning everywhere you look. The classrooms here are critical, but expand your mind beyond the classroom. You can learn, if you're from Houston, you can learn a lot from your friend from Demopolis, Alabama, and vice versa. Make sure that you are learning all the time. Be curious and approach your relationships with that point of view in mind. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are you making the 5 people you spend the most time with better? Are they making you better? I want you to really think about that. I'm really fortunate. 2 of my best friends from Morgan State are still my best friends today. In fact, my college roommate, just a total coincidence, she lives in Houston, is actually speaking here next week to the PhD program. She's a renowned physician in Texas. Steel sharpens steel. Now let's talk about the relationship beyond yourself, beyond your peers, and with your broader community. And I'm going to give a shameless plug here. Do we have some people from Thread in the house here today? Can you raise your hands if you're here? Okay. Over here to the left. So I am on the not-for-profit on the board for a not-for-profit called Thread here in Baltimore. Some of you may be from Baltimore. I'm sure many of you are from other cities. But while you're here in this city, why not make an impact? Right? Why not make it better for your presence having been here? What I love about Thread, and I have a lot of opportunities, as you can imagine, working for Sean, to work with different not-for-profits. But the thing he and I both care about is you don't want to just give your money and time and hope something happen. I want to know something happen. I want to see the results. And what's exciting about the work that Thread does is their ultimate focus is on desegregating Baltimore, right? And the reason why it's called Thread is that none of us prosper alone. The interconnectivity of us is woven together like the threads that you're wearing today. And when something goes wrong with any one of us, it goes wrong with all of us. As for some reason lately, when I turn on the news, this message is getting lost, and there's been this push for this individualism. It just simply doesn't work. It's just a failed theory, right? You have to be interdependent on one another for your roads, for your relationships, for your communion. You have to be. At the end of your journey, and I hope everyone here lives a long life, but at 95 years old, or if you apprise yourself of the things you contributed to the world, things that were important to you, nobody is asking to snuggle up with their stacks of cash. Nobody is looking around and seeing how many medals they won. It does come down to the relationships you had. Who did you love, and who loved you? What I love about Thread is it is built and rooted on those one-to-one relationships, and it's very much dependent on volunteer students like yourselves. We have a great relationship at Hopkins, and I hope I can say this here. I would like to see more Black students representing, helping other Black students in Baltimore become the best they can be. So if you guys have time during your journey here, please check it out. It is thread.org, and I think you will find it soul-nourishing. And for those of you who are psych majors like I was, or sociology, there's a phenomenal true scientific learnings because the founder is actually a scientist. My other point on being respectful is challenge your brain, like respect yourself, your discernment, to find different information sources. I study the Harvard Business Review, but I also listen to Migos. Like, you know what I mean? There's inspiration all around. And I think you have to don't feel locked into a particular pathway of information, because that's how you end up thinking individualism works. Be broad. I watch CNN, but I watch Fox News. You need to be broad in your data so that you can make discerning decisions about the way you guide your life forward. And then the last point around this is true stars build more stars. Sean Combs always says, and he said this since I started on October 5th, 2005, he said, we have to hire people who are better than us. Reginald Lewis, who is from Baltimore, one of the first black billionaires, I am butchering his quote, but it was something of the effect of, it's not about becoming a millionaire, it's about how many millionaires do you make, right? So as you guys, I know you guys are on the right road, and I can't wait to read about what you guys are doing. But don't forget that the journey is not yours alone. What thread are you creating? Who are you bringing up as you move ahead? The five-pointed star is an unbroken line, right, to make these. If you do it, you can do it in one. You never have to lift your pen up because they're all interconnected. So the point is that even if you have, like, dope genetics and everything else, it doesn't really work to be a superstar, like superstar level, if all the points are not connecting. In closing, I'm going to borrow some words from who I view as the epitome of a superstar. For any Michael Jackson fans in the house, I'm about to reference 9 of his songs. See if you can count them. I ask you to approach life with a child's heart, but don't forget to live a little bit off the wall. As you ease on down the road, remember to do what you say you will do. It's easy as ABC. Don't worry about losing the friends you make here, because you never can say goodbye. And always enjoy yourself, but be accountable and look at the man in the mirror. In order to get ahead, you might find yourself working day and night. But most of all, when pursuing your dreams, don't stop till you get enough.
Amazing. That was just terrific, Dia. We here at Morgan are so proud of you. I mean, I have to say that I hope our students really are understanding what sage advice you just got. That was just terrific. One of the best pieces of advice that I have seen in years and years and years. You represent this institution, you represent yourself, and you represent Combs Enterprises extraordinarily well, and we are very proud of you. And I say to our students, if you will, please take with you those kernels of wisdom that Dia just shared. Be great. Own it. Put those 5 R's out there and make sure that you understand what each one of them is asking of you. Be the first, she said. Be the first to the game. Don't wait until 11:59 if your paper is due at 12 o'clock, right? And take that same philosophy, she said, throughout your life. And then she talked about relentlessness, and then being responsible and being resourceful and being respectful. I mean, I cannot think of a better message that could have been delivered on this day for our honors convocation. And Dia, I'm going to ask you to come forward, and I'm going to ask also the members of the Board of Regents to come forward, as well as our Provost, Dr. Gibson, for a special award. Morgan State University, Presidential Citation, MSU Distinguished Achievement Award, presented to Dia Sims, President of Combs Enterprises. I, David Wilson, President of Morgan State University, congratulate you, Dia Sims, a distinguished alumna of Morgan State University, for your fruitful career as business executive and entrepreneur, and for the key positions that you have held at Combs Enterprises as Assistant Chief of Staff, General Manager of Advertising and Marketing, and now as President of Combs Enterprises. I commend you as a creative force that has identified and pursued strategic investments to expand the reach and influence of Combs Enterprises in entertainment, the media, fashion, spirits, and culture. I applaud you for your extraordinary philanthropy as a board member of Thread Organization and Binkable, two associations that help to foster academic achievement and personal growth and to connect with the best creative talent of the nation's youth. And I thank you for being a Morgan alumna in whose life and career the university takes great pride and satisfaction. Honors Convocation, April 5th, 2018, David Wilson, President. We will now have a musical selection by the Morgan State University Choir.
This is such a great day of celebration. We wanted to sing, "Hallelujah is the highest praise."
Thank you again, Dr. Conway. Throughout its history, Morgan has produced many outstanding honor scholars, some of whom have gone on to distinguished careers in virtually every profession and in every city in the United States, every state, and every corner of the world. Today, we would like to give special recognition to our honor scholars, and I'm going to ask Dr. Gloria Gibson, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, to come forward and present these distinguished honor scholars to us. She will be assisted by Dr. Darrell Peterkin, Director of the Clara I. Adams Honors College. Please welcome Provost Gibson and Dr. Peterkin.
Good afternoon. Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful day. What a beautiful, beautiful celebration. Thank you so much for your powerful words. Now we have come to the point in our program where we will honor our stars, our students that have achieved so very, very much. It is my honor and privilege to first honor the student with a perfect cumulative average for at least the past 7 consecutive semesters. What an honor. And the honor goes to Shanae Ross in nutritional science. She's probably studying. It is now my honor to introduce the students with a perfect cumulative average for at least 5 consecutive semesters. Let's give them a hand. 5 consecutive semesters. First, we have Dominique Bonds from social work. David Couteau from architecture and environmental design. Jamil Davis from accounting. Charlene Folks from psychology. Oh, it's Miss Davis, okay. Miriam Say from nursing. Our next awardee is Najima Nadrasova from Hospitality Management. And last but certainly not least, Momope ni Yazu Olayinka from biology.
Good morning or afternoon. 27 students have maintained a perfect 4.0 average for 3 consecutive semesters. I ask that those students stand as their names are read and remain standing until the entire group has been recognized. These students can pick up their awards after the convocation in the Honors College office in the old Jenkins building. First, Edetumike Adeyeme, electrical engineering. Zaricia Alcindor, finance. Mary Amos, family and consumer science. Amber Allinghouse, nursing. Noel Bright, family and consumer science. Marissa Bush, computer science. Ayana Colmer Gilbert, biology. Lori Farber, music. Imani Fuller, chemistry. Heather Gesselman, nutritional science. Valicia Hanna, sociology. Albandari Hassan, medical technology. Almaha Hassan, medical technology. Oluwa Kayode Jasanya, electrical engineering. Lucas Krasinski, nutritional science. Natalie Mack, political science. Imani Major, architectural and environmental design. Shivani Minto, computer science. Oluwakemi Ojo, nursing. Samuel Orelaja, industrial engineering. Supadra Padel, economics. Pierce Perkins, philosophy. Maria Rica Sabodio, food and nutrition. Barbara Rideout Bay, family and consumer science. Cameron Robinson, screenwriting and animation. Ashley Smith, social work. And Darrell Walton, construction management. We have 80 students who have earned perfect 4.0 averages during their very first semester at Morgan. Their names are listed in your program, and I ask that these students now please stand as a group for your recognition. These students can also pick up their convocation certificates in the Honors College office in the Jenkins building. We now turn to the students on the Dean's List. The Dean's List recognizes students who, in a given semester, complete 15 or more computable semester hours while having no missing grades, no grades of I, or no grades less than C, and who maintain a semester average of 3.4 or higher. It also recognizes those students who, in a given semester, complete 12 to 14 computable semester hours or having no missing grades, no grades of I, or no grade less than C. And they must maintain a scholastic average of 3.6 or higher. I now have the pleasure to present to you the students who made the Dean's List for the spring 2017 semester. Please stand and be recognized. Will those students who made the Dean's List for fall 2017 also stand and be recognized? And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to know that we have over 1,000 students on the Dean's List. What can I say? We would now like to acknowledge those students who are members of the various honor societies that have chapters here at Morgan State University. If you are a member of one of these proud organizations, please now stand and be recognized. Congratulations to all of you for upholding the highest of academic standards and for adding your names to Morgan's 150-year legacy of scholarly excellence, integrity, and civic engagement. Enjoy this moment. You have certainly earned it. But also remember that tomorrow, you must return to the hard work that has brought you thus far along the way to a better future for yourself and a better world for us all. Allow me to leave you with an inspiring charge from none other than the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Gibson and Dr. Peterkin. Once again, a round of applause to all of our student scholars. And of course, it's always great when you see the Morgan legacy continuing. And so Dia Sims has a nephew who is also being honored here today, Mr. Alex Howard in business. Will you please stand and be recognized, Alex, the nephew of Dia Sims. I just want to say a word or two to our students about how others are receiving you when you represent Morgan in places all over the U.S. Literally, I just got off a red eye from the Silicon Valley. And I've been spending some time out there in the last 2 or 3 years, basically taking a message to Intel, Google, Facebook, Kapoor Capital, and all of those companies that if indeed they are serious about inclusivity, and about diversifying their workforce, they can't get there without Morgan State University. And so a month and a half ago, the president and CEO of Intel, Brian Kosanich, invited me and the presidents of 5 other HBCUs, Howard University, Prairie View, Tuskegee, Florida A&M, North Carolina A&T. And he wanted to have a confidential, private conversation with us about how Intel could take greater advantage of the talent at these institutions. And it was a very, very revealing conversation. At the end of the conversation, there was a reception with the executives of Intel. And there was one executive who heads the strategy and acquisitions division who had as one goal to meet the president of Morgan State because he wanted to share something with me. And so he came over to the reception and he said, President Wilson, here's what I want to share with you. You had 2 interns out here this past summer, and I'm going to call those students names. Issa Weaver, who is an electrical engineering major, and Marissa Bush, who's a computer science major. And he said, you need to know that they were the best interns that I have ever had in my division. And so, Morgan students, when you're getting these opportunities, going back to the message that Ms. Sims gave to you, take advantage of them, and you are. Now, in addition to that, Dean Yu, Dean of the School of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences, has informed me that as of today, I believe, Google has already selected 10 students to do internships there this summer. Last summer, Facebook came to our campus, and they were so impressed with our students that by the time they left, they offered 6 of our students internships at Facebook. And as their internships came to a close, I got a phone call from an executive at Facebook who said already they have made offers to 4 of those students to return this summer. And so we know that for those of you who are returning, you have a little work to do out there with Facebook, and so we're looking to you to bring that type of innovation, to bring that type of creativity, to bring that type of solution to the challenges that many of these companies are facing. That's your responsibility. That is what it means here at Morgan when we say that we are growing the future. That's you. So you can lead the world. If the world is not what you want it to be, if the United States is not what you want it to be, your responsibility is to get in there and make it what you want it to be. And that's your charge from Morgan State University. And so as we bring our program to a close, join me once again in thanking Ms. Dia Sims, our keynote speaker. I congratulate all of you that have been honored today. And as we stand at commencement in the future, Dr. Gibson, I want to see more than one student who has maintained a straight 4.0 for his or her entire tenure at Morgan. That's the challenge. We know you can do it. Let's go forward. and embrace that goal. And so now we'll have the alma mater that will be led by the Morgan State University Choir, and this will be followed by the benediction by Dr. Bernard Keels, and then the recessional.
May the road ahead be paved with your footprints of excellence. Always remember the admonition of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., who said about faith, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the staircase. May the wind of dedication and the commitment gently press you on and upward to fulfill the purpose for which you were born. In the midst of the raging storms, declare and decree, peace be still. Offer your gifts, not as leverage for self-advancement, but as evidence that you have grown in the future and are preparing to lead the world. Keep climbing the staircase to the brighter days that lay ahead, keeping your eyes on the prize, and take with you for the journey a peace, P-I-E-C-E, of the peace, P-E-A-C-E, of the Prince of Peace. Amen.
once everybody's gone, we're just gonna hurry up, throw it where we know it is, and we're good.
Okay.
Do you get the cage? Do you go to the cage at all today?
No.
Okay, so yeah, you're good.
Yeah, today's Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be in the cage.
Okay. Yeah, as of right now, you're good.